Hi, I'm Da Vinci.
And I'm like, Shaggy.
And he's here because today we're going to be counting down my top 10 cartoons of the 80s. We've got a great list, and maybe some of your favorites will be on it, too.
Like, you got any snacks around here?
Can't you just wait? I mean, it's only going to be like probably a 3-minute video.
What about you, Scoob? Are you hungry?
Who are you talking to? It's just you and me here, Shaggy. I think maybe you need to chill out with the Scooby snacks and just cool out and let's get to the list.
Like, just me, you, and Scooby-Doo?
I'm trying to do something right now, and I really don't have time. What was that?
That's my best pal, Scooby-Doo.
That brownie you gave me before the show, that wasn't a regular brownie, was it? You know what? I don't have time for this. Let's just get to the list.
Number 10, Super Friends.
Alright, so the series known as the Super Friends spans from the 70s to the 80s, including Super Friends, Challenge of the Super Friends, and Super Friends, the Legendary Superpower Show, which kind of sounds like a Japanese game show. For purposes of this list, I'm lumping them all into one category, so no need to send me your angry emails.
Dear HR Cartoon, it has come to my attention that in your latest YouTube video, you erroneously refer to the Super Friends as an 80s cartoon. Please note that the original Super Friends aired from the years 1973 until 1977. Postscript, worst countdown ever.
Right. No need to send me that kind of email. Alright. Now, I loved superheroes as a kid, and I loved this series. It had Batman, it had Superman, Flash, Green Lantern. What more could you want? Unfortunately, the logic at times was kind of unbearably absurd.
Take the controls, Robin. I'm going to try an old trick that never fails. Now to unplug his turbo igniter.
My engine, it's dead!
If you're nice, I might call a space tow truck for you.
I've got to stop that fissure before it splits the temple in half.
Number 9, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
This one kind of falls into the same category as the previous one.
Seriously? You got any, like, chips or cookies or something? I'm starving.
Come on, Shaggy. I'm trying to do a list right now. Go rummage around in the kitchen or something.
Like, look out, fridge. Here I come.
Where was I? Superheroes. Loved them. Comic books, action figures, especially cartoons. This one featured Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar, and it had a ton of guest stars. Plus this dumb dog. But, like most kids' cartoons from the 80s, the content doesn't really hold up by today's standards. Although this part is still pretty cool. That signature Iceman sound.
You'll probably get a medal for this.
Number 8, The Gummy Bears.
Usually the cartoons I liked were glorified commercials designed to sell action figures. But this cartoon was made to sell candy, I guess?
Like, gummy bear sounds good. Do you have any?
Shaggy, please, can I get through this list? So these guys were cute little teddy bears in a medieval world. They drank gummy berry juice and they could bounce for a limited time, and if a human drank it, they gained super strength for a while. They had to stop this evil Duke Eggthorn dude from stealing their juice or something. It was a fun cartoon and pretty well animated and voiced, and that's why it's at number 8 despite the ridiculous premise.
Number 7, The Incredible Hulk.
Did I mention that I really liked superheroes as a kid? The only bad part about this cartoon was getting through the boring Bruce Banner bits and getting to the cool Hulk smash parts. As a kid, I didn't get the whole angsty Bruce Banner monster inside of me thing. Who cares? I just wanted to see the big green guy break stuff and punch supervillains in the face.
Number 6, G.I. Joe.
A real American hero. I was a big fan of these toys and, for some reason, this cartoon. The plots really don't make any sense and none of the bad guys can shoot worth a dang. Then the Joes would just run past all the bullets and run up to the Cobra guys and punch them in the face and knock them out. Pretty unrealistic portrayal of war, but it's for kids. I loved the ninjas Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. There were actually some pretty good stories written about these guys in the G.I. Joe comic book, which, looking back, was a lot better than the cartoon.
Number 5, The Transformers.
This one's really another half-hour commercial. I think the animation's a little better than G.I. Joe. I guess if you love the toys, then you love the cartoon and vice versa. The Autobots and the Decepticons land on Earth. The Decepticons want to strip mine the Earth into energon cubes, and then the Autobots have to stop them. They fight a lot. Sometimes humans get involved. Pretty standard cartoon, but I can still remember getting Optimus Prime on Christmas one year, and I just thought he was the coolest toy that ever existed on the face of the planet.
Number 4, He-Man.
I was totally into this one. The animation is decent, although it looks a bit rotoscoped. The stories are pretty pointless, but it does have rewatchability if you enjoy camp. I mean, there's just so much going on here, from He-Man's furry underpants to Skeletor inexplicably talking with no visible tongue, but a lot of the animation was canned, and so you would see He-Man throw the same punch and pick up the same rock over and over again. Once again, it was a cartoon to sell toys. Man, I was a sucker as a kid. And like some of the other cartoons of the 80s, they would have these little the more you know type tidbits at the end of the show where He-Man or one of the other characters would give you tips on how to not be such a loser.
Number 3, Dungeons and Dragons.
I was too young to really know anything about the tabletop game, but I really loved this cartoon as a kid. The idea of being transported to another world was kind of the whole reason I watched cartoons as a kid. Sometimes life can be kind of crummy, but when I was watching cartoons, the worlds were always bright and colorful and full of adventure and excitement. So this cartoon was about these kids that got transported to another world. A world where everyone is a jerk. Dungeon Master is a jerk. He pretends to help them, but all he ever really does is give them cryptic clues that invariably lead them around in circles.
The Cavalier is right. There is much of value in that box, and an equal amount of pain and horror.
Ah, come on, make up your mind.
What is in the box, Dungeon Master?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Venger is an even bigger jerk because he just wants to steal their weapons and kill them. Tiamat is the only thing that Venger fears, but she's just as eager to destroy the kids as she is to destroy Venger, so she's a jerk too. Along the way, they meet other jerks like this cowardly knight and this evil wizard. They tend to get betrayed a lot because even if someone they meet seems like a cool guy, in the beginning, invariably he turns out to be a jerk. Maybe they should have called this series Dungeons and Jerks.
Number 2, Thundercats.
All right, almost there. This one is probably the best animated show in the series here. It also has some of the most creative stories. You have Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats, trapped on this strange planet battling mutants and, of course, the evil Mum-Ra.
Me and Scoob were attacked by a mummy once.
Here we go with this again.
But it turned out that it was just old man Clayton. And he would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for me and Scoob and the gang.
Uh-huh. You done?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. He doesn't even know. So anyway, it was well animated, creative story, pretty good production values, imaginative worlds, it's my number 2 cartoon.
Number 1, Robotech.
It's difficult to even describe the impact this show had on me as a kid. You have to understand, I had never even seen Japanese animation before, and then it had space and transforming jets and giant robots and aliens. People were making out and actually dying in this series, which never happened in the cartoons I watched. I thought this was just amazing.
I saw an alien once,
Shaggy,
but it turned out it was just old man Wilson. He said he would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't...
meddling kids, I got it, blah blah. Anyway, this one gets the top spot because it was well animated, the storylines were interesting and a little more grown up, and I was totally into it as a kid.
Hey,
what, Shaggy?
What about us?
Who's us?
What about our cartoon, Scooby-Doo?
Oh, yeah, no, I thought you guys sucked.
Way harsh, man.
Yeah, no. I would watch when the guest stars were on, like Batman and Robin and the Harlem Globetrotters. But I mean, other than that, it was just a bunch of smart aleck kids and a dirty hippie riding around in an old van unmasking people.
You can't talk about the gang like that.
I kind of think I just did, Shaggy.
Let's get out of here, Scoob. We don't have to take this.
Whatever. Good. Go. I'll finish the show by myself.
You know what? Kind of glad he's gone. All right, that's it for today's show. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. That's it. I'm out of here.
He said he would have gotten away with it too.
These streets I got good time. Mommy sure don't look too good time. Ain't nobody got a dime.